Data Movers, showcasing the leaders behind the headlines in the telecom and data center infrastructure industry.
Hey everybody, welcome to Data Movers. I'm your host, Jamie Scotto-Kataya, CEO and founder of JSA, along with my fabulous co-host, you know him well, top B2B social influencer, Mr. Evan Christel. Hey Evan.
Hey Jamie, hey everyone, welcome to Data Movers, where we sit down with the most influential men and women of today's telco and data center world, supporting all of these new network requirements. And Jamie, I am in Las Vegas again for Mobile World Congress, all things mobile, 5G and beyond. And speaking of which, Apple has had their big announcement last week. Have you gotten your new iPhone 15?
You know it. Well, I've ordered it, but I was supposed to wake up at 3 a.m. to make sure my order went through, and I woke up at 5 instead. So it's November instead of
Oh,
tomorrow.
you snooze, you lose.
That's
Typical,
it.
you know,
That's
you gotta.
early bird gets the iPhone over here. So yeah, we're anxiously awaiting, my husband and I. My husband's such a tech guy. I am so surprised he didn't set his alarm for 2:55, to be honest, like he normally does, but
Well, it's I have mine. I got it on time, like some of us who are keen on the latest and greatest products. And I love it. It's been a delight. It's lightweight. It's got this titanium thing going on. The camera is really a big step up. But I've been hearing lots of negative PR around resilience and drop testing, and it's a little easier to break maybe if you
sure
don't
it
have a
wasn't from
case on it.
Motorola.
And overheating. So I don't know what to make of this. What do you do in these crisis situations when people on social media are talking about how your iPhone is melting their hand? And I mean, do you address, if you're the Apple chief communications officer, do you address this? Do you kind of ignore it? What do you do? I don't know what to do. I'm not a marketing communications guru.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the scenario, right? So take each case by case. But if someone had an issue where it's burning their hand, I would absolutely respond back. And so sorry. Here's our new one. What else can we do for you? Here's a month off. Whatever it is. But you definitely try to make it right if you can.
You don't just ignore them like I would do. You actually address the problem.
I mean, so if it's batter, that's just like kindergarten stuff, then you don't want to sink to that level. Like if it's just like, I don't like the new colors.
Okay.
I don't know. You never.
I remember the exploding Samsung phones from years, maybe a decade ago.
Remember when
that was
you
great.
couldn't take something on an airplane? At the lithium battery or something, just you have to leave your iPhone at home.
I would not have wanted to be the Samsung marketing person at that time. But this is tech, right? We're always pushing the limits, and occasionally you break things. I think the new phone's great. I have it. I've enjoyed it. And speaking of shiny new things, we have an interesting conversation today.
Yes. I don't want to waste any more time because our guest is super impressive. You're going to love him as much as we do here. As you know, guys, here at Data Movers, we really like to bring in our thought leader from our industry, really dive into his or her background, stories, careers, highs, lows, what's their unique perspectives on where the future of our industry is heading. And today we are excited to welcome Raymond Burell, Senior Sales Executive at EkkoSense. Hey, Raymond.
Hi, Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Evan. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Really great. We're so excited you're here.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So I'm going to just go ahead and kick it off. We know you are fairly new to EkkoSense. We actually had you earlier on a JSA TV, one of your first few weeks at your new company. But first, for our audience, can you just set the stage, tell us a little bit about your role as Senior Sales Executive and how it aligns with the company's goals and strategies, especially as we're talking expansion into the U.S. market?
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to be back for the second time. I can't believe it. It's so funny. On my second day at EkkoSense, I was taking sales calls. So, I think the whole senior in front of senior sales executive didn't really afford me any onboarding. I just kind of hit the ground running. So feel like a veteran at this point. Very happy to be here and very excited. The feedback I've been getting from all my clients and customers, the network I had before, as well as the new customers that have been finding their way to us, has been extremely positive. And being a vet of the software world, I do feel like what we have is innovative. It's definitely going to be disruptive, and I'm excited for the future. In my role, obviously, I'm champion and really heading up our North American and really the Americas push. We're based in Europe, right? We're founded in Nottingham, UK, and we have a strong international presence. But as a result, we all live in a global world, and so we've followed several of our customers over to the States, obviously, and we really are just ramping up in the Americas, making sure that we can provide that same level of support that they expect. Obviously, I do all of the interactions on the front end of the process, making sure really educating is a huge piece of what I do. Obviously, there's a new cutting edge aspect to our software platform with the 3D digital twin, the machine learning, the artificial intelligence, which is obviously super exciting and new for a lot of folks right now. So a lot of educating, a lot of entertainment, a lot of networking, a lot of conferences, but really I get into the solutions. I'm a bit of a tech guy as well. I enjoy creating the unique solutions to solve their very unique needs, wants, and goals, right? So they have needs that need to be addressed. They have wants, and then they have long-term goals, whether they be ESG, energy savings, et cetera. So we create a unique solution for each customer, and we are, really excited about the potential in the future. And I look forward to the growth. And honestly, the end game is net zero. We all want to get there, right? They're talking about it and as a objective of almost every country or organization or city. They all want to be in net zero 2030, 2050, et cetera. So that's the end game here. I think we all want to get there. So thermal optimization is critical. And then no stranded capacity is super important. And then obviously this planet has given us all that we have, and feel very fortunate to get all those blessings. So the environmental component, the ESG component is really important as well. So that's my goal and that's my job, and I'm excited to be here.
I feel so excited for you. I mean, EkkoSense is such a interesting product, optimization software, real-time visibility, and it's an amazing piece of software. I think I need one of these for home use, for personal use, Jamie. So I may hit you up for that for my servers at home. But in all seriousness, you must be super excited to get the word out, because when you have a software like this that's so needed, and the demand is there. It's almost like, where do you start? How many orders did you take today? What's your quota for the day? Because I guess it's what is your strategy for getting this in the hands of customers through the channel, with the channel, and how can you do that at speed and scale? I guess is the main question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Evan. I mean, there's not enough time in the day, right? It's all about bandwidth these days, and I like to say, and I've come to find that there's customers are really resonating with the fact that we're bringing bandwidth back to them, right? So ultimately, with this particular piece of software, it's geared towards the data center operator and the owner. And so in my time in this industry, I've really found that a lot of software is extremely robust and ends up becoming shelfware. That's a new term. I certainly didn't coin it. It's new to me, but it's really applicable because you buy an expensive DCIM product and then you don't end up getting the value from it. Your guys feel it's like a encumbrance to their day-to-day activity. They're wasting lots of bandwidth trying to train and understand it. So our software is very intuitive. It's visually just stunning, frankly. Knowing what the rest of the industry has to offer, when you log in and you see the granular detail of your data center, and you're able to change up the different filters and look at the different important KPIs and the different aspects of the data center, immediately drilling down into alarms and thermal events. I mean, it gives you that ease of use and that feel of almost like, I know the digital world right now is taking over and gaming is taking over. So we're built on a gaming platform. So it's easy. Its load times are super fast. It's very intuitive, and it's really just easy to understand and diagnose issues, right? So it brings bandwidth back because you automatically have those compliance reports generated and ready to go to your leadership. You automatically have the ability to drill into specific issues and send work orders and get things addressed. If you're adding new capacity or if you're adding new racks to your room, the building tool, you can build 10 racks in a matter of a minute. It's really quite impressive. And so I've been finding that the end users at the facility level, the local level, are just extremely excited about how this is going to impact their day-to-day life. And then leadership's obviously extremely happy with the dollars that we're saving and their ability to easily report on compliance, right? So with our roots in the UK has somehow got, Europe has somehow positioned themselves as like the leader in, making these metrics for ESG or energy savings like painful for folks that don't achieve them, and they're creating laws and rules. And so we're early adapter to that because of our roots there in the UK. And now we can future proof the Americas so that we're not, trying to play catch up when eventually it finally gets through our Congress. If anything can get through it, and this gets through it, then we'll have the ability to really help our clients to tackle that and be ahead of the game.
Yeah, so well said. So well said. And okay, so how do you see EkkoSense's critical data center performance optimization software, which is called EkkoSoft? I like that. The stunning EkkoSoft is how you referred to it. But how do you see it as addressing the real specific needs and challenges faced by clients in the U.S. data center industry, right here on U.S. soil?
Yeah, no, that's good. So, there's a couple of things that I have found in my career very interesting. One is this notion of a single pane of glass. So every provider, I started in BMS, I've sold EPMS, so DCIM, I've had lighting systems, integration systems. So I've seen every flavor, and there is no single pane of glass out there until now. That's exactly what we're providing our customers. We're able to get them, we have 1 foot firmly in their white space and 1 foot firmly in their gray space. And so that enables us to pull in via software or what we call Ekko Airs and retrofit hardware onto your cracks or your craws or your HVAC units. We're able to pull in all this data, aggregate all this data, and enrich it for you in that visually stunning display so that you have that single pane of glass. There's no switching between multiple different systems, verifying in BMS and then verifying in DCIM, figuring out what's going on. It's really, the ease of use is fantastic. This is the thing I've been talking about a lot lately. So AI is taking over every conversation. I think everyone's racing out there to build the biggest, baddest, best data center they can build so they can handle all this high compute, but they have 60% stranded cooling capacity. They're not even using what they have, right? And so ultimately, I think, what our optimization does is it allows you to minimize that footprint, obviously save energy, save the CO2 emissions, but then you can then realize all of that stranded IT compute for these higher, so AI and laboratory applications that use AI require so much compute power. So, before you go building the biggest, baddest 300 megawatt campus, let's make sure you're getting the most of what you already have. And then when you build that campus, let's make sure it stays optimized, right? Buildings fall out of repair so fast, whether it's a commercial office or a data center. And so for us, empowering our users with these recommended AI generated recommendations is really the thing. But what I like to remind everyone is we don't know the future of AI and how it's truly going to hit. But what we do know is that human intelligence will always be required. So AI and human intelligence will have to merge. There isn't a situation where you can just turn over the keys to an AI engine and just hope, I hope this works out for us. And, I'm sure it's making the right decisions. No. I talked to a data center operator yesterday. He's the one that's deciding whether that's league lag on these particular cracks. He's the one deciding, no, we've already placed these tiles here. We've already opened up and used this strategy before. I like this recommendation. I don't, etc. And so I think the merging of human intelligence with artificial intelligence, this is the future, right? This is what AI is going to enable us to do. I mean, unfortunately, it's going to make it so we have more bandwidth, so they'll fill our days with other things. But there's going to be a period of time that I think AI and the human interaction will be really symbiotic relationship, and that's what we're bringing to the industry at an early stage, which obviously is an advantage for us, but also an advantage for our customers.
Yeah.
Well, I, for one, look forward to merging with AI ASAP. I need the turbo boost. But in all seriousness, you've also integrated with Packet Power, and that sounds pretty exciting. And really, it sounds like a win-win for Packet Power, for yourself at EkkoSense, and for customers. So tell us more.
Yeah, so that is really exciting. Obviously, their expertise in power distribution, our expertise in thermal optimization. You marry these two things together, good things are going to happen. Success is going to follow shortly thereafter. I've already had some very large financial institutions who are planning to use packet power. We're doing a demo for them, and the light bulb goes off and says, "Wait a minute, you guys are partnering now, and you have these natural integrations, leveraging the strength of both companies." So yeah, I see it hitting, and I see it being a very valuable partnership. I mean, time will tell how it plays out. Obviously, I think you mentioned something earlier about the iPhone and different issues and how you respond. I believe in the adage that the people at Stanford and Palo Alto kind of dubbed, which is fail fast, right? And then fail forward. So, I believe that we're going to work well together. We're going to figure out what the best fit is between the two companies. But naturally, just in what we do, when you get leaders in both who have similar delivery models, similar, very strong cybersecurity setups, there's only going to be success. It's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to working with those guys.
So well said. And in your perspective, Raymond, what unique value propositions does EkkoSense bring to the table when we compare it to other players in our data center optimization space? What makes you stand out?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's really only one other entity that shall remain nameless that can claim to do what we do. And fortunate enough for me, recently I had a customer. We were on a call set up by our lead gen company that we work with, and he immediately went to, hold on a second, let me share screens. And he brought up this competitive system. And this was the first time I really got to see the system live. And I immediately saw it and was like, what am I looking at? Like, it was just not clear. The visual representation was very murky for me. There was no granular data. It didn't seem like you could just log in and know right away, this is a hot rack. Right away, we have a problem over here. This HVAC unit is, with our machine learning, it's showing that it's trending down 20%. No alarms have been triggered, but clearly something's going on with this unit. Let's send somebody out to deal with it. I just didn't see that granular detail in data. And his first question was, what can you tell me to justify how I can replace what we have with what you have? And they globally rolled it out. So I think the ship may have sailed for him for a period of time. But it just really was encouraging for me to get a look at that. And so I believe the real-time granular data that you get in the detail, the detail is just night and day different. I mean, one looks like a blob of colors. The other is literally your data center represented in a 3D model with everything filtered over top, right? So it was night and day for me. And I actually feel a lot better about this head-to-head match we're going to have for a while.
Oh, I love that.
Nice. Yeah, it's a beautiful interface, and can't wait for folks to check it out who might be watching or listening. So tell us about you being in the right time in the right place in this industry right now, in the data center industry. It seems like so many factors are converging at once: the need for sustainable solutions, the need for power optimization, the need for AI capabilities. Do you feel that you are in the right place, and how do you see yourself capitalizing on this market?
Yeah, no, Evan, I think you're seeing this. You're seeing it exactly like I am. I feel grateful and blessed to throughout my career really have been in position to grow with a lot of very impressive companies, mentor and network with a lot of individuals in an industry that's emerging, right? I actually know what the pre-internet days remembered, what they were like. I remember what it was I'll meet you at the mall at 2 p.m. And if you didn't meet him at the mall at 2, you guys weren't hanging out.
Right.
And so, there wasn't this whole million options and the ability to change up plans and do all this online, planning and connecting. So we are living in an entirely new world. The digitization of this world is exciting. However, if I'm going to be the old guy who has seen what it was like before the internet, I will say that it feels like the digital world is bending us to its will, as opposed to us bending it to our will. And so right now, when we have things like machine learning, artificial intelligence, everybody wants to get to net zero. Those are all great, but the rubber has to meet the road at some point. And for me, they have started down that path at EkkoSense. I'm very excited to see how other companies and our clients and partners tackle this challenge. But continuous optimization is something that's not new. So retro commissioning is what I used to call it. I think I mentioned that last time I was on. For me, we have the ability to now to stay continuously optimized state. And in doing so, you're always going to know that you have the right costs, you have the right capacity available, and you're in a position to capitalize on that from a business standpoint and offer your customers that type of service and visibility. And so for us, being a software as a service for our clients is extremely exciting. We have customers that are serving this up as read only into their tenant portals, enabling their customers to have visibility. They both know that things are in an optimized state. There is no, in the middle of the night putting 30 racks into a room and nobody knew and you didn't inform them, and you all of a sudden get spiked SLAs, and they're like, "Hey, you owe us some money." And they're like, "No, no, 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 no. Let's go back and look in the timeline here, because we restore all your history in totality. Let's go back and see that, oh, on this day we have you coming in." And all of a sudden, magically, all these new racks appeared, right? So now we don't believe this is an issue. And so the digital twin, the power of that, the power of continuously optimizing, and frankly, what we're really excited about at EkkoSense is simulation. So we're going to be releasing in Q1 of next year. We've already piloted it and testing it with all of our larger customers, a simulation feature that will allow you to simulate downstream and upstream on not only your power and your cooling systems, a critical failure, a switch out of equipment. So if you're doing a maintenance shutdown, you have to replace a crack, you will be able to figure out what that's affecting downstream and upstream on your power distribution and your cooling distribution. So this is going to be extremely powerful. So you don't want to test this stuff out in a mission critical environment. You want to know prior to what's going to happen, what racks or what cages will be affected, what parts of the building need to be addressed. And so the simulation is something I know that customers of mine have been asking for years, and we're getting ready to deliver it. And I think it's going to land very hard. And so, I'm excited about that. And so, we've capitalized honestly on all of it. We have ESG reporting coming out, so it's going to make compliance really easy. These are all things that I think we're well positioned to support our customers into the future of this digital world. And hopefully we can bend that digital world back to us, so that we're all not walking around with our phones in our hands all day bumping into stuff, right? We actually have a nice balance there where, we love the digital world. Obviously, all of us are enablers of that, but we also love connection with other people and our families and our friends. And so I think giving bandwidth back to our customers, capitalizing on all this innovation, but still keeping our feet firmly planted on the ground.
Oh, just love that. I love that. And actually, that ties in nicely with my little transition here, like Wayne's World. First off, EkkoSense, so exciting, guys. Keep scanning that QR code we have right here, which will get you right to ekkosense.com. Definitely some incredible optimization software for data centers that you want to check out, learn more. But let us now transition to Raymond Burell, the man. We want to hear more about you, my friend. What makes you a thought leader? What do you see? And just some fun facts. So we're going to transition to our rapid fire fun facts section. And
Okay.
Evan, go ahead and kick it off with your first fun question.
Yeah, I'm curious about this one. So, beach vacation or mountain getaway? Which would you choose for your next vacation?
I mean, I'm always going to go with the beach vacation.
Of course.
I lived in Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, Santa Monica,
Nice.
Mission Beach, and Venice Beach. So
Wow.
I'm a beach man. I love the ocean. I do appreciate a hike in nature and a mountain getaway, but there's nothing that replaces the power of the ocean in my mind.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
I was
that.
recently, just 2 weeks ago, in Croatia. And if you haven't been, you have to go, because they got the beaches and the mountains like right next to each other, like on top of each other. It's
Sounds
amazing
amazing.
country. So,
Yeah, sounds
yeah,
amazing.
put it on your bucket list.
It's there.
Amy?
It is on it. Actually, I do want to go to Croatia.
I think it just floated to the top of that bucket list for me. All right. Now, again, another hard-hitting, journalistic question for you. Sweet or savory snacks do you prefer?
Yeah, I love sweet, and I don't keep candy in the house because I will eat it all. And I'm really dumbfounded by this whole salt on your cookies and savory. I've just not been a big lover of that. I'm all about the sweet, the sugar, and I know that's not great for the waistline, but it's just, I'm a sweet guy.
Yeah, I just my daughter just started school, which at a school that I'm obsessed with. They just do everything right. I'm so happy there. And they have November 1st, the day after Halloween, for any like leftover Halloween candy to collect for kids in need. And I was like, that is so brilliant, because what happens is I always overstock thinking a million people are going to come to the door at, trick or treat. No one does. I always buy my favorite sweets, like Reese's peanut butter cups. And then I spend like all of November, secretly
Somebody's got to eat
stashing.
it, right?
Yeah, I know. Like
Somebody's got to eat it.
squirrel in my,
My kids never had any leftover candy. I made sure of that. But besides eating candy, favorite hobby outside of work? How do you switch off, disconnect, tune out? What do you do to get away from golf?
So not surprisingly, I like to golf. So if anyone out there wants to tee it up, I'm all for that. And I like to hike, and I like to walk by the beach, ride bikes by the beach. I mean, I did mention this beach life earlier. So I take a lot of walks by the beach at night. It's one of the things that help me truly unwind. And it's amazing to me because I'm generally the only one out there in the middle of Los Angeles, and there's just no one out there. And I feel a different kind of connection, and it gives me opportunity to really process what's going on in my life and just be grateful and stay in that space. And so for me, that's a very enjoyable time. Being in Mother Nature, I'm gonna be honest with you, is just, it grounds me and it keeps me in a good place.
Jamie, were you a writer for the dating game in a previous life? These questions sound like the old game show. I like a lot of the dating game.
How did you know?
We may have to read it. Long walks by the beach. Yes.
I sound a little cliche, I guess. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it.
No. It's these, to Evan's point, it's these questions. But all right. So did you play golf like your whole life, or was there a sport or extracurricular activity that you were into in high school?
Yeah, actually, that was honestly, one of the greatest decisions. One of the best things that my stepdad gave to me was a love for golf. And I actually caddied. I was caddying when I was learning, but I had an aptitude for reading greens, which, if you know anything about golf, is the thing that guys, when you're caddying, really care about. So the big bags in the country club loved me to be on the loop for them because I could read greens. And if they made a couple extra putts, that was generally worth a considerable amount of bread for them. So I played golf early. Then I got on the golf team in high school, picked it up quickly. I played a year of basketball as well. And then into college, I pretty much played all intramural sports, and I have several championships on the resume from a flag football and a basketball perspective. Woo. But I now do low impact sports so that I can still travel to Croatia so I don't tear up any my knee or something. So I'm mostly golf these days and hiking. But I played all the sports growing up, from soccer, baseball, golf, basketball, and then kind of started to wind down in my mid-30s.
I love that.
Nice. What was your first car? This is a good one. I don't know what my first car was. It was something terrible, I think. But what was yours?
This 1988 Isuzu Trooper. If you remember those, they look like a boxy SUV. And the funny story about my Trooper was, in it, obviously, we took great care of cars in my family. I ended up passing that on to a family member. They drove it up to almost 400,000 miles. I think when I gave it to them, it was at about 290. And my dad and my mom had used it previously, obviously. And we actually had the catalytic converter was bad. So we were kind of middle of the class, and we didn't have a lot of extra discretionary spending. So I just drove it that way. So you would hear me coming from around the corner with that 5-speed, just like, wah, and I would just, so, yeah, everybody knew. I mean, people, if anyone watches this from my hometown, they will be laughing right now because that was me coming into the parking lot.
Here comes Raymond.
I couldn't sneak up on anybody. I had to push it down the street from my parents' house if I wanted to try to take off at a later hour and I wasn't supposed to be out. I had to it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. Then my uncle fixed it as soon as I gave it to him, and it sounded great. And so I'm looking back, God, I really wish I would have spent some of that caddy money on a new catalytic converter.
All right, last question for you, and then I promise you're off the hot seat. Yep. Who is your biggest inspiration and why?
Yeah, this is such a tough question, and it became easy to me. But originally, I kept thinking about all these people, right? Whether they be in historical folks or somebody in current day. But then it really just came back to the most important person, which is my mother. This is going to sound a little bit cliche, probably as well, but my mom was a dynamic lady. She was what you call the original hippie. She marched for the right to vote and for equality and for love. And she translated that into our family. We were taking vitamins at an early age in the early 80s. You know, we were packing up the car. She could pack a mean cooler. We were taking road trips to watch the fall leaves change or to spend time with family in northern Michigan. She was a social worker. You know, she really, really walked the walk. She was a librarian in the prison systems for over 30 years, right? Helping bring knowledge to some of the most downtrodden people of our society. And the whole time just bringing nothing but love home to her family, you know, raising two boys. She was just a fantastic lady. And, you know, I think watching her, she read like at one time 2 to 3 books at one time and still does this to this day. She has to probably be in the 99th percentile of books read in this world of all people. And she just passed along so many great things to me. And honestly, I couldn't imagine who I would be or where I would be without that unconditional allowing me to grow into the person that I was. I'd been medicated on an attention deficit disorder or something. And she just wasn't having that, you know, whether it was getting me into sports or doing all these other things. She just, if I have to be, you know, brutally honest about it, you know, my mom is definitely, you know, a hero of mine and somebody that, you know, I can't think of a better person to feature in that question. So.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Best answer ever.
Jamie, I'm not crying. Are you crying? I see a little tear. It's come to your eyes. It wasn't me.
It's like pouring onto me. It's like I'm that emoji cartoon come to life. No. Oh.
She's quelling. Raymond, have you thought about a career in politics? I mean, senior sales executive is well and nice, but we need U.S. senators. We need Congress people.
You know,
president.
Evan, I tend to not watch the news. I think I'm such a believer in being of service, and you know, politicians are public servants. I feel we've lost the complete definition of that word, and
that's right.
I think my abilities can be well served in many avenues. I would respond to that calling one day if it were something. I thought maybe teaching later in life would be equivalent to this, but you know, politics is just it's just frustrating. So, you know, I'm all about progress. I'm all about solutions. I'm all about getting things done. And right now that's just not happening. So I don't know that that's the best place for me right now, but I would answer the call if people, you know, were to champion me in that way. I would take it on, but it's probably not in the cards for me right now.
Well, thank you so much. In any case, future President or Senator Burrell, we're going to save this for posterity.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining. And it was really intriguing to hear, you know, your excitement, your enthusiasm for this solution. And I couldn't help but just be amazed by the innovation you have here. I love that you shared it was the software was originally designed on a gaming platform with a graphical, the graphical side of things. And I'm really hoping you do a consumer version on the Xbox. I would like nothing more than to sit back on a Saturday night and play in the data center with my EkkoSense.
We'll create a digital twin of your house, and you can go around shutting lights off and turning down the HVAC, you know, and making sure that the sprinkler system's going to come on.
And I'm serious. I'm only half kidding here. This is that'd be really fun.
And Evan,
I'm sorry, Jamie. I've taken this totally off.
I would like to say, Evan, that President Burrell does sound pretty good.
It has a ring to it. It does have a ring. Yeah.
It does sound pretty good.
Speaking on behalf of our entire data center industry, I want to say I'm so glad you're here in our industry and you're lending your voice and your passion to us. We need it. We need it on these topics like sustainability. And I'm just so thrilled to be able to showcase you to our community because you're needed. So thank you.
Thank you guys for giving me the platform and for doing what you do. Obviously, without you, there would be no me. And so it's a privilege and an honor to be here. So appreciate you.
Thank you. All right, guys.
All right.
If you enjoyed today's Data Movers podcast as much as I have, go ahead and check us out at jsa.net/podcasts for upcoming Data Movers episodes, releasing every other week or so right here on our JSA podcast series.
And be sure to follow us on X. I still call it Twitter, at Jay Scotto and Evan Kirstel and BurrellForPresident.com. And until then.
Absolutely, everyone. Stay safe and happy networking. Bye, guys.
Bye.